Impact segment tonight, as we report in the Talking Points memo, the New York Times printed a partial tax return for Donald Trump from the year 1995. It said the businessman took a whopping $916 million loss against future earnings. One footnote, somebody sent the New York Times that information and may have even mailed it from the Trump Tower. By the way, it is technically illegal for anyone to print someone else's tax return. With us now here in New York City, Stuart Varney, anchor on the Fox Business Network. So you're a Trump supporter. When you read this story, did you think this is going to hurt him?
Yes, I did. I think it gives an opportunity to his opponent, who will say, see, the rich do not pay their fair share in taxes, Donald Trump included. I think it's going to be brought up in the vice presidential debate tomorrow night by Tim Kaine, and Hillary Clinton has already brought it up.
Yeah, she brought it up today, and she'll do it in a debate next Sunday night, too.
It's an opportunity for his opponent, and they're going to run with it. I think what Donald Trump needs to do is to pivot away from that tax problem back in the 1990s to his tax policy right now, because that is a winning policy. That will be a winning issue for him.
The tax cut policy.
Absolutely. It's the only plan out there that gets America growing again. You need to get growth to get back to prosperity. That's important.
But remember, Romney was caught up in a similar situation last time around, and he wanted to cut taxes, or so he said, as well. But they demonized Romney as this rich guy who may have offshore accounts, hide money, didn't care about the 48% who needed assistance on all of that. Wouldn't it be wiser for Trump to say, listen, I took a legal tax break because my company was in trouble back then, and I turned it around, and everything I did, every corporation would have done. And by demonizing me, Mrs. Clinton, a wealthy individual herself, is basically being dishonest because she knows what I did was perfectly legal.
I wouldn't want him to go back to something like he's gone back to the beauty queen.
Yeah, but it's a different situation, though.
Yes, it is.
Because he built his campaign on being a good businessman.
Sometimes he can't let things go, and he really needs to let things go. The beauty queen,
that was
heaven's
ridiculous.
sake.
Right,
and don't ever go out in public and mix a woman's weight with women. I mean, don't do that.
No, I know, but you got, like I said in the Talking Points, you got to cut him a little slack, because he had no idea he was going to run for office back then. He was trying to get publicity, and that's what he did. He didn't do it intentionally. He did it to try to buff up the Miss Universe contest. Not make any excuses, just putting it in context. But let's get back to his tax thing. He does have a problem because he isn't releasing his tax returns, and traditionally candidates do, all right? Now he gets exposed for this massive tax write-off. So you're advising Trump, and you say just ignore this?
No. I say turn it to your advantage. What he did was he took this huge loss, $916 million, discounted it against his future income, therefore paid no income tax, we think, in a number of years. He should turn that around and say, look how I bounced back. Yeah, I took one big loss, but you should admire me. He shouldn't have to say that, but admire the man for an extraordinary bounce back. And after all, he only did what millions of Americans have done. I did that. I took a hit on a house that I owned in the 1980s, lost a lot of money, took a tax loss in a couple of years in the future against my future income. Millions of Americans do this. It's part of our tax code. It's part of our way of getting back after you've made a big loss.
What about the argument that Secretary Clinton is making, and she made it today, that if you don't pay any taxes because you have these write-offs and these losses, you don't really contribute much to the defense of America or the infrastructure or the well-being of the country?
He was contributing to America by regrowing his business, which now employs thousands of people and works all around the world. I think that's a better contribution to the economy and to America than pumping money into the government, which wastes an awful lot of it.
Will he have to address that? I think that the two moderators, Cooper and Raddatz of ABC, Cooper of CNN, will hammer him on his taxing.
Yes.
So we know
Kaine will bring it up. Even if the moderators don't bring it up, Tim Kaine definitely will.
Well, but Kaine doesn't really have much. I mean, you know, Kaine, Pence. You know, look.
I think he should just go on the attack. He's got a terrific tax-cutting plan, which will give us growth and, I think, prosperity. That's why I support the
But he has to answer some of the questions that come his way. So you've got to he's got
to learn how to be a good politician and deflect and pivot very, very quickly. Yeah, I heard all about that back in the 1990s. Now look at this. I got a plan that will make you prosperous. Bring back America and the middle class.
This is a speculative question. I don't usually ask them, but since you did go on record, and you are a Trump supporter, saying he's wrong to defend himself in these kinds of beauty contests and other things, why do you think he does it?
I don't think he can control himself. I think there's an element of vanity in the man. When attacked, he will punch back incessantly.
See, that's always worked for him in business.
Yes, but in the primaries it worked.
In politics, it doesn't always work.
Right, and in the presidential election, I don't think it works. He's got to learn how to give something up. When you've lost something, give it up. Move on. Turn positive. Pivot.
All right, Stuart Varney, everyone. There he is.